It's been over a month since the iPhone 17 hit shelves, and when I first reviewed it, I made a pretty bold claim that you should skip the Pros and just buy this instead. On paper, it looks like one of the best value iPhones Apple's ever released. And after living with it for a full month, I can confidently say that claim still holds up. When the tech world's attention has been mostly glued to the flashy Air and Pro models, the iPhone 17 continues to strike that perfect balance between price, performance, and features, and it's still the one I'd recommend to most consumers. So yes, design-wise, the 17 feels very similar to the iPhone 16. It keeps the aluminium frame, frosted glass back, and vertical dual-lens camera bump, along with the dynamic island housing the front-facing true depth camera and Face ID sensors. The body has slightly rounder corners that make it comfortable to hold, and the matte back resists fingerprints better than the previous glossy designs on older iPhones. One of the more subtle but important changes is the screen size, which has grown from 6.1 inches on the 16 to 6.3 inches on the 17, now matching the Pro. This makes the device slightly taller, thicker, and heavier, but the difference is balanced by a reduction in bezels, so it doesn't feel too cumbersome. It's not a groundbreaking feature, don't get me wrong, it's only slightly thinner bezels, but it does modernize the base iPhone, and out from the front it looks like a Pro device. Colors are pretty nice as well, even though I went with the pretty boring black. But you can never go wrong with neutral shades. The display itself is where the 17 really shines. For the first time, the standard model gets Pro Motion support with adaptive refresh rates up to 120Hz, smooth scrolling, fluid animations, and responsive gestures make everyday use feel noticeably faster and more natural. Apple's also introduced an always-on display, so you can glance at widgets, notifications, or live activities without unlocking your phone. Though do remember, as has always been the case with the always-on display on older iPhones, it will eat into battery life, so while I was using it for most of this review period, I will likely disable it long term just like I did on my 14 Pro Max. Either way, the choice is appreciated. Peak brightness has been boosted to 3000 nits for outdoor visibility, up from 2000 nits on the iPhone 16, while typical brightness remains at 1000 nits of brightness and HDR peaks at 1600 nits. Combined, these changes make the screen not only bigger, but generally more enjoyable for daily activities. It's finally a standard iPhone that doesn't feel like a compromise compared to the Pro. Apple's also improved durability with Ceramic Shield 2, which they claim offers 3 times better scratch resistance. While most of us won't be dragging keys across the screen on purpose, it's reassuring to know the 17 should handle everyday wear and tear much better than previous iPhones, and in my testing I haven't noticed any marks on the screen. For anyone planning to use their phone for 3 or 4 years, that's a meaningful change. The display is also less reflective, which again I have appreciated. Now let's pause here for just a second. If you enjoyed these deep dive comparisons, hit that subscribe button and tap the new hype button. It really helps a small channel like mine reach more Apple fans, and you'll never miss my latest takes on all things Apple. Alright, back to the iPhone. Camera upgrades are more subtle than the display, but they do matter regardless. The rear dual lens system remains with a 40MP fusion wide lens and a new 40MP ultra wide. The fusion lens supports a 2x optical quality crop, giving you 0.5x, 1x, and 2x zoom options without the softness of digital zoom. The better ultra-wide lens brings improvements to macro photography and low-light performance, making it more versatile for everyday shots. On the front, the 17 jumps to an 18MP square sensor with center stage support and improved stabilization. Selfies and video calls all benefit from this upgrade, and I must say it's very handy that I can now take photos in landscape while holding the phone in portrait. Apple also includes dual capture, allowing simultaneous 4K Dolby Vision recording from the front and back cameras, a feature creatives like myself are gonna love. Though I do wish I could switch between the front and back camera, so for example, if I want the back camera to be in the little cutout and the front camera to be the main view, Apple should give us a choice, but unfortunately that's not the case right now. Maybe they add it via software update. General video quality is great as well. That's to be expected though, because that's a big reason I love shooting with the iPhone. Video is something Apple always nails. Apple's also retained the action button and camera control from the iPhone 16. The action button replaces the old mute switch and can be customized to launch apps, trigger shortcuts, or even start a voice memo. Camera control is a capacitive pad letting you adjust focus or zoom without a swipe. I'll be honest though, I haven't found myself using camera control for actually controlling the camera. I just use it as a button to open the camera app and that's about it. But hey, at least that frees up the action button to do another function on the device. Under the hood, the 17 packs the A19 chipset, built on Apple's 3rd generation 3nm process. It features a 6-core CPU, 5-core GPU with neural accelerators, and a 16-core neural engine. Those are many big words, but essentially, this phone is fast. You also get access to Apple Intelligence, which is still a little half-baked, but when Apple gets around to launching next-gen Siri, the additional performance is going to come in handy. I think the most useful AI feature right now though is adaptive power modes, which learns your usage and optimizes the phone to give you the best battery life possible, and I will talk about endurance later in the video. Anyway, as one expects, everyday activities feel snappy, heavy apps run smoothly, and multitasking is effortless thanks to 8 gigs of RAM. iOS 26, as everyone knows, has more flashy animations, and while there has been the odd bug here and there, the powerful chip still keeps everything running rock solid. This doesn't have the improved thermals of the 17 Pro, but aside from a long FaceTime call with a friend, I haven't felt the phone warm up during regular usage. Battery life has also been boosted. Apple rates the iPhone 17 for up to 30 hours of video playback, up to 6 hours longer than the iPhone 16. Streaming video lasts up to 27 hours, and real-world screen on time comfortably exceeds what most people need in a full day. I have been getting 8 hours of screen on time on average, and I'm a pretty heavy user, but I'm gonna be honest guys, that isn't a huge upgrade over the iPhone 16. I think Apple's video playback test can be a little misleading because they're just running a video in loop, and of course, with the new adaptive refresh rate, yes, battery life is gonna be better for that use case, but when it comes to mixed usage, it's only slightly better. But regardless, very good endurance. Charging has been improved as well. Fast charging now reaches 50% in 20 minutes with a 40-watt adapter, while its charging supports up to 25 watts on Qi 2.2 chargers. Connectivity is also better than ever. The iPhone 17 includes a Qualcomm modem for 5G, unlike Apple's own modem in the iPhone Air, but I've had zero issues. 5G performance has been rock solid. Apple does, however, give the 17 its in-house networking chipset, the N1, with Wi-Fi 7, Bluetooth 6, Thread support, dual frequency GPS, NFC, emergency SOS via satellite, messages via satellite, and crash detection. And yeah, overall Wi-Fi has been great on this phone, I've had zero issues, and it also continues to feature second generation ultra wideband for precision tracking with AirTags. I know, by the way, people still complain that this has a Type-C port with USB 2 speeds, but you've got to remember that most aren't going to be transferring things very often with a base iPhone. Speakers and mics are great, by the way, and here's a sample for you guys. So here's a mic test with the iPhone 17. It should sound pretty similar, but here's how it sounds. So who's the iPhone 17 really for? Well, pretty much everyone. I think 95% of consumers, even some pro consumers, can make do with the iPhone 17. I use my iPhone for content creation, and this phone has been great for that purpose, so I guess I fall into the prosumer category. But for the vast majority of average consumers on older iPhones, this is a must-buy. The slightly larger, smoother display, the upgraded front-facing camera, longer battery life, and subtle design refinements make this feel like a fresh device. Even iPhone 16 users might consider it, especially if they want the added screen size, 120Hz refresh rate, and improved front-facing camera. You won't get the ultra-slim design of the L or the telephoto lens of the Pro, but for the vast majority of users, the 17 covers all the essentials. Apple has made the base iPhone feel complete, and that's a big deal. Pricing also makes this phone a winner. At $799, it's the cheapest flagship iPhone Apple sells, and you get 256 gigs of storage as standard, a feature previously reserved for the higher-end Pro Max. That, combined with years of iOS updates and Apple Intelligence support, means 17 is not just a great phone today, it's going to be a phone that's going to serve you well for the next 5 to 6 years. It's really an awesome deal. Historically, the standard iPhone has always been the default choice for most buyers. The iPhone 16, for example, was the world's best-selling phone in Q1 2025, outselling the Pro models. That trend shows that consumers value a well-rounded experience over flashy extras, and the 17 doubles down on that strategy. Apple's refined the design, added meaningful upgrades, and made the base iPhone feel like a complete package that won't leave users wanting for more. I'll leave links below to buy this phone. So are you planning to upgrade to the iPhone 17, or are you happy sticking with your current device? Let me know in the comments below, and if you found this review helpful, hit the like button, subscribe for more Apple coverage, and make sure to tap the hype button to support this small channel and stay up to date on all things Apple, the latest leaks, reviews, and deep dives. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.